My dearest and beloved Earth brothers and sisters, this is Ashtar speaking. I greet you, and consider you to be part of me, and I consider you to be amazing examples of Source's grace and perseverance and light. In other words, I love you, and you have all my respect for persevering and holding on to grace and light in the midst of such darkness. To those galactics who have eyes to see, what you are doing is inspirational and is a great service. You are also teaching the rest of us how to stand steadfastly, no matter what the rest of the world thinks of you. Us galactics aren't used to being in a situation where most people around us think we're crazy or deluded, and that's certainly an area where you are more experienced and where we can learn from you and where we can look to you for inspiration. I respect you enough that today I am going to present you with what I think is a high and challenging perspective. I trust you to be able to handle it. My goal for this message is to help you transcend victim consciousness, and to help you align more with your soul. So, every day I hear Earth people asking for intervention or help. Now, we actually are doing lots of subtle and covered interventions. Every single one of you would have a much worse life right now, or would be dead, if we weren't doing anything. That said, I can certainly understand the perspective that we are not doing enough and that we should intervene or land pretty much today. Other Pleiadians have pointed out to me in discussions that if my literal children were on Earth right now living a typical Earth life, that at least part of me would want to intervene immediately. And yes, that is true, but you can't make policy based on that. Still, I get that argument, and I very much do consider the perspective to be entirely valid that we should intervene or land as quickly as possible. That said, let me share an alternative perspective, the one that I am often choosing to operate out of. I frequently use other perspectives too, such as the perspective that if we intervene it may cause long-term instability, but today let us talk about one particular perspective. The perspective is, all of creation is one big and free playground for souls, and it is largely as it should be. Now yes, there are a few asterisks here. There was a reincarnation trap on Earth that has been dismantled. And beings that are disrupting the playground so much that very many others can't have the experiences they want, can in exceptional circumstances get unmade and have their energy reabsorbed into Source. Still, creation is a playground for souls, and you are primarily a soul that has had many incarnations. This current incarnation is one that you'll leave behind in a relative blink of an eye, but your soul is old indeed. What do souls want? Well, most souls primarily desire experiences and soul growth. To them, pleasure and comfort and love and unity are nice, and being in pain or being oppressed or starving to death are equally nice. They're all just equally valid and valuable experiences. So creation is a playground. Souls can incarnate wherever they wish, more or less. Souls themselves cannot be harmed, except for being unmade in rare situations if they're exceptionally disruptive. And what lower selves would see as painful and undesirable experiences are seen by souls as just as valid as valuable as what you would see as happy and desirable experiences. So the galaxy isn't some place that has some light civilizations that are good and nice and desirable, and some planets that produce bad outcomes and undesirable pain and oppression. From my perspective, it's one huge playground, and you have some areas such as the Pleiades that provide one kind of experience, and some areas such as Earth that currently provide another kind of experience. The playground has pleasant and fun rides, and the playground has more challenging and demanding rides. So on a fundamental, big picture level, if we put aside some issues that do need to be addressed and some management that does need to happen, reality is one big playground. Reality really is as it should be. So even if your lower self has a painful life, even if things are hard for your lower self, there's no need for your lower self to go into victim consciousness. After all, most of you, as souls, chose to incarnate on Earth. And every single soul is consenting to remaining on Earth every single day. Because if you as a soul no longer wish to be on Earth, then it is very easy for you to arrange that your lower self has a heart attack or gets hit by a car and dies. So yes, Earth is a challenging ride, but it's one that you, in the sense of your soul, most likely signed up for, and it's one that you, in the sense of your soul, keep consenting to every single day. So while from one perspective you may be a victim, it's also true that from this higher perspective you aren't a victim. Now sure, don't bulldoze the parts of you that are in pain, but at the same time it is valid to be able to see this higher perspective too. Now, it's entirely possible that your conscious mind isn't aligned with what your soul wants. It's entirely possible that your conscious mind currently is in resistance to pain. But then that's simply something to work on, because whether your conscious mind likes it or not, your soul and not your conscious mind is in the driver's seat for your life to a large extent. So in fact, us galactics are not being callous. We're doing what Source wants us to do, and Source wants us to balance helping liberate humanity with giving the souls of Earth what they want in the present moment. We are listening to what the souls of Earth say every single day, and we are giving you exactly what you want, and the simple truth is that most people on Earth are still asleep, and most of those souls keep asking us for more time to wake up, because they're hoping that they too can join New Earth if they get a bit more time to wake up. Plus they're currently attaining a lot of soul growth. So us galactics are doing exactly what most souls on Earth want us to do. It's just that what souls want is primarily experiences and soul growth, and this current time is such a unique and amazing opportunity for growth and for unique experiences that most souls don't want it to end yet. They want it to last a little longer. Not a huge while longer, but a little longer. What is happening on Earth is literally what the majority of souls are asking for. Now yes, your lower self might be in pain, but remember that the true you, your soul, most likely willingly chose to incarnate in an obviously painful world. And your soul every day is consenting to being here, which is confirmed by you still being alive. So if you want to blame anyone for your pain, I guess you could blame your own soul, but then that doesn't make a lot of sense, because it's more accurate to think of yourself as your soul rather than think of yourself as your lower self. Personally, I would advise you to align with your soul, and I would stop labeling pain as bad and wrong. It's understandable to not enjoy pain, but labeling it as bad and wrong and as something that needs to be fixed is a form of resistance. And resistance to pain creates suffering. So there is nothing wrong with the situation on Earth. What is happening on Earth is literally what the majority of souls are asking for. And if your lower self isn't happy with the life it is experiencing, well, your soul to a large extent determines what manifests in your life. If your life sucks, quite likely that is because your lower self hasn't yet let go of certain resistances or learned certain lessons yet. Now admittedly, it could be the case that even your soul would prefer that the bad guys get arrested today and that us galactics would land today. That is possible. Some people's souls genuinely do feel that way. It's just that they're not the majority, and currently us galactics are listening to the majority of souls who want that to happen but don't want that to happen quite yet. It has been said that you are incredibly powerful. And you are, so long as you don't limit the definition of you to just your rational mind. Your soul is very powerful, and if you align your lower self to your soul, then you are even greater indeed. The group of Earth human souls is even more powerful. Powerful enough, in fact, that Earth humanity as a collective has quite a lot of influence on what manifests. And indeed, the world that you see around you every day is pretty much the world that the majority of Earth human souls want to live in order to learn lessons and have experiences. You can blame the reptilians, you can blame the dark controllers, you can blame greed and lack of consciousness, but really, the world is approximately as most Earth human souls want it to be. If most Earth human souls wanted mass arrests right now, it would probably happen quite quickly. Us galactics would seriously consider intervening if that's what most Earth souls wanted, but most likely we wouldn't even have to do that because you would be doing it yourselves very quickly.